Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. Hope we're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another lunch show. Apologies for being slightly late. But listen, I'm here. I am here and I'm ready to go. And we've got plenty to talk about in today's show. We're going to be going through all of the latest transfer news regarding the club. We're going to be delving into some of the things we weren't able to speak about last night on the evening show. The pace of news and information that I think we're going to be consuming over the next couple of weeks regarding updates, links to do with players, incomings, outgoings. Obviously, we've got Chelsea and we've got Strasborg as well. A lot riding on where both of those teams finish in terms of Blueco and how the loan policy is going to go for next season. Because obviously, if we both finish in the same competition, then one side will have to relinquish control, i.e. Strasbourg will not be able to take Loanees from Chelsea. So listen, big up to everyone that's watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And smash that like button. We've already got about 20, 30 people in there. So press the thumbs up if you haven't already. And let's just dive straight into it. I want to start off just looking at some of the recent updates regarding the club at the moment. Obviously, we know that Arsenal are going to be playing PSG tonight, so fingers crossed they end up beating Arsenal. So we'll see what happens there. Romeo Lavia has played just 14 times in the 24-25 season, but has provided enough of a sample size to show that he makes a huge difference when fit. This is according to Simon Johnson Sport. To be honest with you, I completely agree with that as well. I mean, listen, if Lavia had been fit, we probably would have been in the Champions League comfortably. And maybe I've been having a different conversation about the manager as well, because we look a lot better, don't we? But you can't be overly reliant on one player. I'm sorry. You have to have a plan B. You've got to have a plan B. And if plan B doesn't work, then if Lavia is only available 14 times next season, I mean, what does that mean? So I think Chelsea need a little bit more of a backbone in terms of dealing with players that aren't available. We are going to have midfield options next season with Asugo, with Andre Santos as well. That's certainly an upgrade when you look at what we have at the moment. Let's just look at Kieran Dewsbury-Hall at the moment, or you could even say Amugu is the next in line. Very limited options. Ugachukwu could potentially come back, but it seems like he's just going to be sold or loaned out again, because we haven't heard anything about Ugachukwu as it stands, and I think it will probably stay that way. But hey, we'll see what happens come the end of the season. I know under the new management, he was getting more minutes at Southampton than he was under Russell Martin. We'll have to see what happens. As it stands, if we look at the top four race, this is where Chelsea are at the moment. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Is that what it's supposed to look like? For fuck's sake. Okay, well, that's a terrible picture. We're in fifth. Why has it not got the points tally on there? God's sake. Sorry, guys. Apologies for that. Where is it? Let's see if I can get it back up. All right. I thought the points tally was up there. I'll find that in a second. Look, we are in the top five as it stands. We are in a good position. Nottingham Forest dropping points against Crystal Palace. I predicted that would happen. Not surprised, to be honest. Their performance was not good enough in the second half for them to be able to get anything out of that game. But still plenty of things to talk about regarding that race. I'll get another table up for you now while we're waiting. I see in the chat as well, Alex, would I take Sesko or Delap? Probably take Delap, to be honest with you. If you look at the money, we're going to talk about Sesko very shortly. CFC Unit says no more Leipzig strikers. Yeah, Yes, Mario not being available, and Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. I'm not sure exactly what his situation is fitness-wise, but I know he wasn't playing. So I'm hoping that he won't be available either. Both key players for Nottingham Forest at the moment. This is what happens when you look at the Premier League tables. You can see Chelsea finish in 5th at the moment, on level on points with Newcastle, also with the same amount of goal difference. We've scored slightly less than Newcastle. We've conceded slightly less as well. And I'm guessing that small margin, on top of the fact that Newcastle have won an extra game compared to us, that might be why they are above us, but very slim pickings as it stands. Nottingham Forest on 61 points. They would have been on 63, but obviously they ended up dropping those points last night. Arsenal again losing against Bournemouth. They've got Liverpool coming up. You'd expect them to win. That puts them onto 70. Quite difficult to reach them. I think City, Southampton, that's a guaranteed 3 points. That puts them on 67. Newcastle have us. We have Newcastle, and Forest have Leicester. So Forest really should be on 64, and then it's up to Newcastle or Chelsea to either go on to 64 as well, which would put us equal on points with Nottingham Forest. Still keep us in the top half of the table, so we'd be fine. We'd be in 4th position, or a draw. Sorry, that a draw would put us on 64 points, or a win, which would put us on 66. We need a win. We desperately need a win. I've absolutely given Maresca credit for the recent games. Absolutely. And I think that, he deserves credit for that. Having said that, what he said after the game, or so I've been told, was that he told the players not to go in a low block, and that's exactly what they did. But then he decided it was working well during the game, so he didn't change it. So essentially what he admitted to was the players didn't do what I wanted them to do, but it worked, so I didn't change it during the match. And that doesn't fill me with much confidence. So by that logic, don't listen to Maresca. Maybe you'll get something out of the game. But no, I mean, as much as I will give him credit, absolutely, he deserves credit. I don't like Maresca. One result does not change anything. It took me until February to say that I don't want the manager involved in this club. I don't like the manager. So it's not going to take a couple of weeks for that to change. You need to see much, much more. And you need to see it over a consistent period as well. But if he does get top 5, if he wins the Conference League, he does not deserve to be sacked by that logic. But even that, by that sense, I'm still not a fan, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the top 4 as it stands, guys, we are very much in it. Very much in it. We've got a lot of points being slipped up as well. I mean, Villa are, only 3 points behind us. God forbid we were to drop points in multiple games, then we're going to be in big trouble. But you would expect us to at least get 3 points up against Man United. So you got a bare minimum of 66. Still not enough, though. I don't think it's enough. Provided Newcastle beat us and Forest as well. I mean, you'd probably need a bare minimum of 4 points to even entertain the conversation. That's still providing other teams drop points. Get the points in early, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's like an early goal, isn't it? You can be flexible when you get that early goal. You can change things. You can sit back. You can waste time. You can pass the ball a little bit more, and the fans won't have a problem with it, as opposed to when you're 1-0 down. Then that's when you get the groans, when you pass backwards and people are thinking, hang on a second, we're losing it. It's different, isn't it? So, yeah, if we can get a win at Newcastle, that'd be absolutely massive for us. St. James has been a difficult ground over the past number of years. And I was there when we lost in the Carabao Cup. That, for me, was a shocker. Look, timing is everything. And I feel like the timing of this fixture from a Chelsea perspective is all right. It's not bad. It's also good from a Newcastle perspective as well, though, because they've come off the back of winning a trophy. They have that confidence, and they have a great home record as well against Chelsea. So a number of things in their favour going into this this fixture. But we can't deny that from a Chelsea heritage perspective, it is nothing less than a failure to not qualify for this competition. And it would obviously be a failure for Newcastle as well. But you know, they are going to be in Europe, irrespective. They will be in Europe, and they haven't been in Europe this season. So that is the natural progression for them. Would they prefer Champions League football? Absolutely. But it's not like us. Newcastle right now, they're in a similar situation in terms of pursuing Champions League football as Chelsea was last season. They just need to get there. Champions League is fantastic, but they didn't even have Conference League this season to deal with. They have a clear advantage in that sense, not having to worry about those Thursday night fixtures. And they've been able to focus on domestic competitions. So I expect them to take this game very seriously, but there is so much on the line for us that I believe that for whatever reason, Chelsea just need to pull this one out the bag. We'll have to wait and see. So, hey, we'll see. We'll see where we go from there. A little bit of transfer news as well that has... Bloody hell. What is this? Why is it in German? Right, it's a German source saying that Chelsea are in the race to sign a centre-back from the Dutch league in Holland, David Hankno. And this is according to MK or Martin Krabben, who is a Dutch journalist by the sound of it. So it's not German, it's Dutch, sorry. Never heard of this player, never been linked with this player before as far as I'm concerned. He is 27 years old, so there's a few celebrations on Twitter as well. A little bit more experience. Don't really know what to say, so if anyone has any information on this player, feel free to share. Look, we need as much help as we can get as it stands right now. Centre-back should be a priority for us. Not one centre-back. It should be two centre-backs without a shadow of a doubt. If we can't prioritise that position, then, listen, there's nothing to build on because we've seen that Maresca has improved us defensively. Although individually, I would argue that only Cucurella has improved significantly. Everybody else, I'd say, has been pretty okay. But that's also a testament to the system in itself and the midfield and how they cover and the job that they do in Caicedo and Lavia, etc. So if you can give Maresca better quality players to work with, hopefully that could be a catalyst to seeing solid performance week in, week out, not relying solely on individual talent, but having that in your locker as well, because we certainly have had games where if we would have had a top-class individual, let's just say Thiago Silva in defence, but there's certain goals we wouldn't have conceded because of poor set-piece marking. I mean, we had that against Liverpool with the Van Dijk goal. I think Madueke was marking him. Not sure why that was the case. That was zonal marking. Or silly offsides, things like that. And there's a number of occasions we could point at. The goalkeeper doesn't help either. I mean, ultimately, I think if Petrovic was in goal, the defense would probably be better anyway, because we know that when we have a better goalkeeper, the defense naturally feels that confidence and they are able to trust what's behind them. So that in turn improves their ability to be able to try and navigate situations. Because if you don't trust the goalkeeper that's there, you might not pass backwards. You might not allow a player to cut inside and go near post because you think, the keeper won't even be able to save that. Whereas if you are confident, then at least you know that you've got a bit of cover behind you. That's always important as well. Looking as well, there's another update from a player that we have already signed. The young man, Dastan Sapayev, he's currently playing in is it no, not Dagestan. Is it Kazakhstan? Kazakhstan, I think he's playing at the moment. He's only failed to score or assist in 2 out of his 7 games for Karat Almaty in all competitions this season. In both games, he was a second half substitute. Basically, he has scored or assisted a goal in every game he has started this season for his game, for his team. And that is unreal. That's very impressive, those stats. And this player, as far as I'm concerned, is only 16 years old. He's so young and so much potential as well. One thing that we have always taken pride in as a football team is since this ownership have come in, is the fact that we're able to find these talents while they are still extremely young. His birthday is August 12th, 2008. He's 16 years old. He turns 17 in August. This is a player that I'd never heard of. If I'm not wrong, he's the first player from... I don't know if he's the first now, because City did sign that centre-back, who, if I'm not wrong, was from Kazakhstan as well. So he might be the second player from Kazakhstan to join a team like Chelsea. Let me know if that's right. So, I mean, looking at what his stats have to say at the moment, you can see on Transfer Market. This is a great place, guys, if you ever want to look at players as individuals and have an understanding of what they're contributing this season. The stats aren't everything, but they are something. And if you're not watching teams regularly and you don't want to watch a compilation, then sometimes it's just good to look at these particular stats. 8 appearances, 6 goals, 3 assists, 1 yellow card. That is in the league. I presume this is in the cup competitions. Okay, they haven't updated this. Right. All right. Well, let's not look at the cup competition. Maybe he hasn't played in the cup because it seems like it's still early in the season. They play their season at a slightly different time. 63% of the time he's in the starting 11 and he's playing 74% of those minutes that are available. His goal participation is 43% in all games. That is exceptional for a team to be relying on a 16-year-old for 43% of their goal participation. You can't criticize that. I mean, you've got to give nothing but credit to a player that is clearly thriving at his club. The question is, though, can he do it at the highest level? Can he do it in the Premier League, which is obviously why we've signed him? He's played just under 1,000 minutes in the league this season. One thing as well, when you look at his stats, you can see he is consistent as it stands. But let's take this with a pinch of salt, because we spoke about Jamie Gittins as well. He had a fantastic start to the season in Dortmund, and when we were being linked with him in January, I would have said that's an unbelievable player right now, based on form and age, price. 40 million would have been a fair price in January based on his form. But now you look at the drop-off that Jamie Gittins has had, and he has had a drop-off, then, you sort of reconsider these things, don't you? We've had a goal on the opening day, 3 goals on match day 4, another goal, another 4 GA in the past 2 games as well. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad. And listen, if this was just any average player, then fair enough. But this is a player who's 16 years old. And to be honest, if you were playing at any league, I would be impressed with that. Whether it's League One or Conference, it's impressive, isn't it? It's good for a young man to be playing it up against men and basically toying with them. As just looking at the numbers I'm seeing right now. So big up to Dastan Satpayev. I don't think we'll be seeing him in the Chelsea shirt anytime soon. It will probably be a similar situation to what we've seen with Kendry Pires, where he goes out on loan for a couple of years, maybe ends up going to Strasborg after that, and then comes to Chelsea. So this is a player I don't expect to see in a Chelsea shirt for at least probably another 3-4 years. But good to see that he is developing. Always nice to see Chelsea players progressing and such. Manchester United, according to the Star, have told Chelsea they will have to pay £65 million to sign 20-year-old Argentina winger Alejandro Garnacho this summer. Can you believe that? 65 million. You are taking the mick. 65 million for this guy. By the way, I had this debate with Lewis at one point, and I was open to signing Garnacho on the basis that, we could get him for about 30, 35 million. And even still, you could have some question marks about that. But he is a young player who's certainly developed at United. You can see there's potential. He's still only 20 years old. But actually, this season, if you look at what he's done and you compare it with previous seasons at Man United, it's not particularly impressive. It's not all that great. In the league this year, he's got 34 appearances and he's got 8 GA. If you then move that over to last season in the Premier League, he had 36 appearances, 13 GA. So he's off track. He's got 2 more games left to play to match the tally of games he played last year. He's still far behind in terms of goals and assists. You go back again, he played 19, he got 5 GA. So actually this season, if you look at the Premier League, even all comps in a lot of ways, I mean, the EFL Cup, he's got 6 GA and 3. I don't actually know who they played. I don't know if they played anyone particularly great. Then you would say that Alejandro Garnacho has not really kicked on since last season. He hasn't kicked on at all. He's in the same boat. He's in the same position. He's worse. And for a team that are looking at players that we can progress year on year, you would hope to see progression anyway. And his transfer fee should not be anywhere near 65 million. You should be taking 30 million pounds off of that. And that should be a conversation that we could consider, but not even say, oh, we'll snap him up for 35. I mean, I'd think about it. I'd be much happier if we got Jamie Gittins at the price of 35. But you're telling me that I've got to pay almost double for a player who's, quite frankly, been underwhelming this season. Yeah, he runs. He puts a shift in. He's fast. His finishing is inconsistent. His decision making at times is poor. He's young. I hear a lot of different things from United fans. I haven't watched enough of their games to comment fully, but this is not a player that Chelsea need. This shouldn't be a priority for us. We need to prioritize the most important positions, which are centre-back, goalkeeper, which we'll address internally with Petrovic. We've added midfield depth with Asugo and Andre Santos, and a striker. And then if you want to add a few more positions, you can think about a winger, and you can also think about a left back. Okay, those are 2 positions that it wouldn't hurt to upgrade a little bit, because if we did get injured, if Cucurella got injured, we'd have a big problem, especially if Vega's not going to be a part of our plans next season. We know that Nottingham Forest have been linked with Vega. We know that Juventus have really enjoyed having Vega. So these are all factors that we need to consider, thinking about what the priorities of the club are as well. They are not going to be just thinking in footballing terms, which when I'm having this conversation with you now, I am. But then you have to backtrack and think, oh, well, is that what the club's actually thinking? And it doesn't make sense any side of that deal to pay 65 million, because you won't be able to flip Garnacho on for a profit. You won't be able to make a profit. Even at 35 million, if the guy flops, you will not make more. You will not make more. The thing about young players is it's all about potential. It's all about potential. And then if you see that they're not fulfilling their potential, what do you have to look at from that point? You don't have anything. And I'm seeing a player who's not delivering on his potential based on what I'm seeing this season. Yes, I will be going to Newcastle. I will be going there. Absolutely. Big up to you, Andrew, as well. Good to see you, mate. If we beat Newcastle, we would qualify for the Champions League. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. I agree with that. We need or want him. What? I don't know what you're on about. No, we don't want him. Owen says you were embarrassing outside of the ground. I don't know what you're referring to. You might be referring to the ownership. You might be referring to me waving at the Liverpool bus. If it was the Liverpool bus, can I just say that the fun police are in town, and apparently you're not allowed to have fun at the football anymore. So apologies for that. I'll make sure next time I just sit quietly in the corner, shake people's hand, and if there's a goal, I'll just clap quietly. All right, respect to everyone and all that. If you're talking about the ownership, then you know what? I went through that yesterday. I honestly don't think I did anything that bad. I think what I did was quite valuable. I gave people a bit of information that they would have never got. But hey, if you don't like the way I do it, Stamford Bridge is an open place. Come outside, bring your microphone. You do what you need to do, mate. You do what you need to do. Because I'm clearly not doing it, am I? So there you go. So yeah, in terms of Garnacho, that is a deal that I have no interest in whatsoever. I don't understand why we're even being linked with this player. But we seem to have this sort of standing interest in him, and I don't get why that is. I don't understand it. But each of their own. It's one of those things, isn't it? I will say as well, if you look at the top four finishers according to Polygraph, Chelsea now have a 43% chance of finishing in the top four. Arsenal 96, City 91, Newcastle 50%, Nottingham Forest 16%. If we beat Newcastle, I'm sure that number will go up considerably. I just wish that City dropped points against Villa as well. I mean, that would have been perfect, but it is what it is. You know, each to their own. Each to their own. I'm personally, I would say that polygraph is probably quite accurate. That's how I feel. I feel about 43% certain that we will do it. It's just hard to look at us and say with confidence that we beat Newcastle. It's hard for me to say that because we're not playing a bad side. We're playing against a great side with a great manager and good players in a very intimidating atmosphere. You know, Newcastle have one of the best home atmospheres in English football in the league. So when they get behind the team on a big game like that, it's very difficult to predict these things. Really, really tough. Benjamin Sesko's release clause is now worth more than 80 million euros for the summer. So really important to understand. This is not pounds. This is euros. This is reported by Philippe Hinz. He works for Sky. He's German. Okay, German Sky. He's reported this out. We haven't really heard much about Benjamin Sesko whatsoever. So to sit here and act like this is a player that I genuinely think Chelsea will pursue, I don't think we will pursue him because we haven't heard anything about him. And if you look at the other players that are out there, you can understand why we might not be interested in a player like Benjamin Sesko, who hasn't had a bad season. He hasn't had a bad season at all, but he hasn't wiped the floor away. He's been good. He's been good. But is that worth paying 80 million euros for? Is that worth paying 80 million euros? €80 million in pounds is 67 million pounds. Okay, so if you're looking at the conversion, that is what we would be paying in terms of the release clause for Benjamin Sesko. And I think it's a relatively fair deal in the modern market for strikers. It's not a rip-off. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a terrible deal. I mean, you think about spending roughly the same on a player like Garnacho. I mean, you'd obviously take Sesko for an extra 2 mil because you have a player who does perform. He does perform. He's a player who grows into seasons, doesn't necessarily start them off as well based on what I've seen in his previous history. 31 appearances in the Bundesliga, 13 goals, 5 assists. He's had one time when he's got a second yellow. So he would have got sent off one time. But over the course of the season in the Bundesliga, he's averaging over a goal contribution sort of every 2 games. He's over 50%, which is decent. It's pretty decent. He's involved in 35% of all the goals in those games. 81% of minutes that were available to him, he played, and he started 91% of games. Very key player for Leipzig. In the Champions League, 4 goals in 8. Decent, not bad. In the Cup, 5 GA in 4. Very, very good. So, look, we can't sit here and say it's poor. We can't say it's great. It's decent. It's decent. This is not a world beat. This isn't the next Awesome, and this isn't the next Gorkarez. It's a good striker, though. It's a striker that undoubtedly would benefit Chelsea. I'd say he's probably a little bit better than Nicholas Jackson in terms of his goal record, but not quite the player that I personally would like to see. You can see his market value has crept up significantly. He came from FC Liefering and then went to Strasborg for about 8 million in 2021, and he has just gone up and up in value. Still a very young player. Arsenal are another team who have been linked with Benjamin Sesko. He's only 21 years old, so still very young, even though he's got a decent amount of experience. Let's look at the season, though, and how he has settled. And when I say this is a player who grows into the season, you'll understand what I mean when you see this. Started off the game in the first 11 games, he scored 3 goals and got 2 assists. Okay, so 5 GA in the first 11. It was all right. And then he really grew into it from game week 13 in terms of the consistency, getting a number of goals. And you can see that his numbers have picked up in a more consistent fashion towards the end of the season. If he can get rid of that slight dry spell at the beginning, then you've got a very, very consistent player. And what I love about Sesko is, unlike other players who might start strong and maybe not finish as well, and to be fair, we've been very guilty of that, a lot of Chelsea players, you've got a player who's kind of the opposite. Not the strongest of starts. It was all right. It's not bad. It's not terrible. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a disgrace, but not what you want from an elite level striker to start off the season. But then you see he picks it up. All right. And a lot of those goals that he's scoring as well are goals that are winning Leipzig points. They wouldn't have got 3 points if he didn't score against Frankfurt. He contributed to Werder Bremen, that result as well. St. Pauli got them a goal and assist in a draw against Heidenheim. So this is a player that I like. And the fact that he's able to pick up and stay fit and available. This is another important thing. When you look at the injury record, 0 injuries this season. We'll backtrack and see a little bit more. He's starting pretty much the majority of games, though. Okay, not playing 90 minutes a lot, though. That's something that I have noticed. He actually didn't play 90 minutes until game week 14 in the league. So I wonder why that is. I'm not entirely sure what the reasoning is behind that. That is potentially a slight concern, but you can see his fitness has picked up in terms of the minutes that he's playing. More 90 than anything. Don't know if anyone knows the reason why. Not playing many full games at all. And that's something that is always a slight question mark from my side. If we go back as well and we see what he did last season, I think it's quite similar in terms of the fact that he grows into it. Okay, so you can see again, this is the season before. This is last. Again, a slow start, right? Very limited at the beginning of the season. The first 17 games, only 3 goals in the first 18 games. And then from game week 19, look how it picks up. Much, much, much better. Imagine if these numbers were spread out throughout the whole season. It's exceptional. Okay, exceptional numbers. But this is the issue, isn't it? You've got a player who isn't able to do it over the full season, but he's able to do it over a good period, half a season, be extremely consistent. But unlike a lot of players who start strong, this is a guy who finishes well. But again, looking at a lot of these numbers, you see not actually playing many full games. 90 minutes over here, 90 minutes on game week 23, 90 minutes here. So out of what? 34 game weeks, how many of those game weeks did he play the full 90? How many did he play? Out of 34, he played 1, 2, 3, 4 full 90 minutes out of 34. And that is something that I don't understand why. I don't watch enough of Leipzig to know. Why is Benjamin Sesko not playing 90 minutes consistently? He doesn't have an injury record either. So this is where it becomes very interesting to me. Is it because they're trying to manage his minutes? Is it because he's just not fit enough to ever play 90? Does he gas out during the games? Is there another player that they bring on they like to use as an impact sub consistently to close out games or to win games? I don't know. It just seems to me that, yeah, it seems to me that it's a bit of a strange situation. I don't know. So that's one concern I have. So when I look at Benjamin Sesko, I see a player that has great potential. He can perform very well in the second half of seasons, but when it comes to the beginning of the seasons, he's a slow starter. He's not one that starts the season off particularly well. Deals, I saw you in the chat. My mate sent me Johnny's stream, and I saw you in the chat calling me a brown envelope. So I don't know why you say that. I don't know why you think that. It's a bit strange, isn't it? Apparently, I get paid. There you go. Get paid to interview the owners. That's what you said. Appreciate the nice comment. Rachel, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Do I have any updates on Mudryk? No, I do not. No updates as of yet. We know that he had a lie detector, which proved his innocence in terms of whether he was truthful or not. I mean, if that has any substance, we'll see. I know they're probably going to use that in a legal sense to try and defend Mudryk, but no further updates on that. We are keeping Sancho. We don't need him. Listen, if you're looking at 25 million for a player like Jadon Sancho, you give me 25 million and say, who else will you sign that's better? I don't know a long list of players that would be better in terms of experience, skill, what we know they can do. Like, he's clearly good enough. It's a mental thing with Sancho. You got to unlock him and make him feel comfortable, which I think we have. Maybe we can see him play to a slightly better level next season. But even as a rotation option, I think Sancho is all right. Certainly not good enough to start for Chelsea on a weekly basis. I concur that opinion. Interesting looking at some of the comments that Maresca has said as well. We've got to react to a few of them. He had a couple of things to say. He was saying that we are not good enough for transition games. If you see our worst moments of the season or games where we struggled, they were all games where the game became transition, and it's no good. So Maresca is not a fan of with the team basically counter-attacking. And he said this publicly as well, to be fair. He also said that we plan the game depending on what the other team do on the ball and off the ball. So when you find a team that try to press high, that means that there are spaces behind to attack. so you can attack quick. But when you play a team that's 6 back or they are a low block, it's more difficult to attack quickly because there is no space. So this is the main reason. And the other reason is that when you attack quick, the opponent attacks quick and becomes a transition game. And we are not good enough for a transition game. I think that is absolute nonsense. We are clearly good enough for transition. Did we not fucking score on the transition against Liverpool with our first goal for Enzo Fernandez? What a load of nonsense. Also, we counterattack so well many, many times with this team. So that is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. Tosin Adebayo on Enzo Maresca, he said he gives the players freedom and confidence, but at the same time, he's talking about Enzo Maresca, by the way. He knows what he wants and knows what he demands from each other and the squad as a whole. So I'll say a bit of both, which for me is a perfect balance, because I think you need to also have that little bit of fear factor of the gaffer, just to know that it's okay. I need to make sure I'm on point here. Otherwise, things could go left. I think it's very important, but he's definitely got that as a young manager himself. When asked by Rio Ferdinand about a Chelsea youngster to watch out for, Tosin also said, for me, I'll probably say Tyreek George. He's a very talented boy, and he's also got the mindset to push on. He's always looking to improve. For me, I'd take George right now. So George getting a lot of praise and credit from Tosin Adebayo. Another player that we know is linked not with a move to Chelsea, but a move away from Chelsea is Flamengo. Are interested in João Felix at the moment. They're interested in signing him in time for the Club World Cup in a potential move that could see him come up against Chelsea in the tournament. Talks are exploratory. Chelsea would consider sanctioning a loan on the right terms, also open to permanent offers. That is according to Ben Jacobs, who's been reporting on that specific incident. Jonathan David on a free is another option we've looked as well. Yeah, that's very true. I haven't heard about Leroy Sané being linked to us. No, I haven't heard that at all, to be fair. Where have you seen that? I have not seen any links to do with Leroy Sané as of yet. Let's have a look. Also, I can't. By the way, I can't see anything linking us with Leroy Sané at the moment. I can't see anything there. But what I can say as well is we have to give a lot of credit to the guys at Strasborg. I mean, this is impressive. When you look at what we've done from a Strasbourg perspective, Jordi Petrovic has been nominated for the best goalkeeper. André Santos has been nominated for the best young player. And Liam Rosnier has been nominated for the best coach. The results will be on Sunday. So we'll see if any of these guys can win any of those rewards. I think Petrovic will definitely win an award. And I think there's an argument for André Santos to win an award as well. Not so sure whether Rosnier will win. I haven't actually seen the table at the moment. Let's have a look. Where are PSG? They're only on 78 points, to be fair. To be fair, there's a good argument for Strasbourg and Rosnier to win manager of the season, actually. So that there's an argument for all three of them to win an award. we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, interesting as well that I saw a tweet, a couple of tweets actually, by Vince speaking about Chelsea's inability to compete at the top of the table stretching to 8 years. Now, this is extremely interesting. And when you look at this, it does give you a little bit of insight. It says, look at the table below, which documents where Chelsea have finished and how many points they have ended up behind the leaders since they last won the Premier League in 2017. So if you have a look, you can see all of the points tallies from 2017-18 to this season right now. And the points tally that we finished on and what we are currently on. So we finished on 70, 72, 66, 67, 74, 45, 63. And we're due to probably beat that tally from last season as well. And then you look at the teams that won the league and how far that gap is from Chelsea against Man City or Liverpool based on the past 8 years, because they're the only teams that have won the league. Now, it started off at 30, 26, 33, 19, 19, 44 points when we had our worst ever season, 28 last season, but only 19 this season. Again, so there's been a bit of a drop-off from even Liverpool. If you look at City, that was 28 points. I think that the overall league has become more competitive, 100%, and that's why Liverpool haven't necessarily been able to pick up as many points. The thing is that a lot of people are saying the top teams are just not as good as they were. I think there's an argument that, we could have better strikers and things like that. I mean, if Arsenal had a striker, what would it be like if Chelsea had a striker? Who else is there in the race? I mean, Villa have a striker, so I mean they're just a team that are doing extremely well. I think that if teams like Arsenal and Chelsea do their business right, the top four will be so interesting, because we will see Chelsea potentially in a position, I'm not going to say to win the league, but to compete for it. And I don't even think the manager has much to do with it. I think Maresca, the style of play that he wants to play, you need to have players capable of playing that style. That's number one. And we've seen that we're able to compete for Champions League playing that style, right? We're able to compete. Not necessarily get it. I hope we do. So with better players in arguably every position and more depth, you got a better goalkeeper, Petrovic. You have a better midfield with more depth. Esugu coming in, Santos coming in. You've got Caicedo, Lavia, and Enzo as well. I mean, that's probably the best depth in the league, if we're honest. You look at the defense and what we're doing there. I hope we can get Dean Huijsen. I hope we can get Mark Guehi as well. Those would be two dream signings for me. Got Cucurella, probably the best left back in the league at the moment. On the right, you've got Reece James and Gusto, but if you're playing Lavia, you just continue to invert Caicedo. I think that's actually the best thing to do in this particular system when you want Lavia in there. And let's just say you have Santos or Fernandez playing alongside. And then you hope that we can get an Osimhen up top. And that's going to win us a lot of points. Think of the amount of times that Jackson's had a chance to score or the chance to get on the end of a chant, on the end of a cross. And he hasn't been able to do it. I was on the phone with someone today. And I said to them, you know what? I can't really criticize. I can't really criticize Jackson too much, because I think that he's given 100%. And I can't expect this man to be the catalyst of Chelsea becoming a title winning team. I just don't. I thought he could get over 20 goals. I really did. I thought he could do it. Maybe if he hadn't got injured, we would have had more luck. But I think the whole team was playing pretty poorly anyway. Maybe part of the reason for that was also because Jackson wasn't playing. I don't know. These are all hypotheticals. But when I look at Jackson, I think that we have a player who has a lot to offer, but he needs support. He needs help. And he can't be the sole scapegoat in terms of goals up top. You need to have someone there that we can rotate. We actually had Mark Guiu, who was playing pretty well at one point and deserved the opportunity to play, and then played and got injured straight away. And that wasn't ideal. It was not ideal whatsoever. And so we had to rely on Pedro Neto up front, who I think filled in pretty well, scored a couple of goals, made some great runs, brought a little bit of energy to the front line, which we never had with Nkunku. Nkunku's not that type of player who's going to press from the front. He's not even a number 9. So, yeah, I think there's actually a debate, not just to get 2 centre-backs, but there is a debate to get 2 strikers as well. I have no issue with getting the lap if you sign another striker on top of that. And that's providing that the Osman deal is not going to happen, right? And I hope that we try and make that happen. We genuinely make an offer that can be considered. If that's £250,000 a week and you're trying to offload Ben Chilwell and you're going to consider offers for Wesley Fofana, which we've also heard has been reported, you've got Nkunku, who you're definitely getting rid of. You're trying to offload Sterling, who's on 325 grand a week. Those are just 4 players, by the way. There's many more. You've got Disasi. You've got, oh my God, tons of players. You can easily free up £250,000. Okay, you can free that up. You are already paying 225 grand a week just to cover Sterling's wages while he's not even playing for Chelsea at the moment. So why not just put 250, providing we can offload Sterling as an example, onto a player like Osman? And that will help you close that gap in a major fashion. I mean, this is not a striker for 20 goals. This is a striker for 25, 30. That's what Osman has proven at the highest level. The concern is his injury record. But then that's where, okay, you've got Jackson who can fill in. He'll get you 15 goals, not 30. But if you've got Osman available the majority of the time, then I think we can lean on a player like that. I think that's a player we can count on. No, he is lazy. I absolutely think he's lazy. There's no denying that. No denying that whatsoever. I agree with you. Demonat says, I would rather keep Sancho for 25 million and sign 2 strikers. Fair enough. We have to offload Sterling and Chilwell first. They earn 550 a week combined. It's a lot of money, guys. It's a lot of money. So just offloading a few of our top earners immediately raises cash for a player like Osman. And another thing that I don't really understand with the, what's the word? With what the owners are trying to do and the strategy here is bringing in big players. I think Burley does understand this. I don't think Barley gets it. Bringing in big players brings in cash as well. They don't just cost you money. They bring in a lot because they sell shirts and they give you commercial pull. Who would have ever even spoken about Al Nassr if Ronaldo hadn't have played for them? Al Hilal with Neymar. Inter Miami with Messi. I'm not suggesting we buy any of those players. I'm just saying that big names bring a lot of attention to your club. So just bringing in an Osman is going to make Chelsea appear not just as a powerhouse on the pitch, because we know we've got one of the best strikers in world football, which we would have if we had Osman, but also it would make us seem like a powerhouse commercially. We'd have players in there that we signed that brands look at and go, oh my God, we're associated with Chelsea. We're associated with this brand. They buy the best. They are the best. And that's something I've never understood when we're looking at players, is if you're bringing young players and trying to develop them yourself, that's fine. You can do it. We've done it with Palmer, but you can't do it and expect to win a league title. You've got to try and gel and mix everything together. That's where I think Chelsea. I said that last summer was the last opportunity to get it right. I mean, in a weird way, we've set ourselves up this summer to be able to strengthen this team, but it's kind of, as much as I want to compliment that, we could have made a lot of those decisions for this season anyway. Santos could have been a Chelsea player this season. Petrovic could have been a Chelsea player this season. And those are two key positions as well, where I look at it and I think maybe that could have had an impact on a number of games. If I'm not wrong, Sanchez has made 5 mistakes leading to goals. Petrovic has made 0. Have those 5 goals potentially cost us points? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head which mistakes they were. There was 2 against Brighton at home. There was the goal against Wolves from a set piece. We won both of those games. That's 3 goals we conceded because of the goalkeeper, but we weren't punished in terms of points. What other games were there? City away, he cost us points. So I would say that's a point definitely cost because of Robert Sanchez. City away. And he conceded a penalty at United, didn't he? So let's just say there's 2 or 3 points that have been cost. It's not the end of the world if we get there, but these are all things that we can consider. Oh, God. Arsenal, yeah. Inside post against Martinelli. Yes. My goodness. Okay. So, actually, there's much more. Maybe about 6 points then. 6 points we've lost because of our keeper. Imagine if we had an extra 6 points right now and we were looking at the league table. We'd be in the Champions League. We'd be there. We would be comfortable. And we would only have to win 1 game and we'd be fine. We'd be absolutely fine. Because if you look at the history of the league, I had a look at this the other day. You don't actually have to finish on that many points to to finish in the top 4. I don't know why they're not showing. Chelsea, let me refresh that tab. There you go. So look, we're on 63 points at the moment. Last season, in order to finish in the top 4, you needed 68 points. So that would be what? 63, 66, 2 wins would have been fine. Okay, so that would be a win against, let's just say, United and Nottingham Forest. You would have got top 4 from that. The season before that, you needed 71, so a little bit more. You have to win all 3. Season before that, have they updated that? $71 again. So even this isn't even top 4, though. I mean, we're talking about top 5, guys. We're talking about 5th place, for fuck's sake. 5th place in the history of the league. 66 points. That would be 1 more win. 67 points. A win and a draw. 69 points. 2 wins. Do you see what I'm saying? 62 points. You don't have to do a ridiculous amount to get there. Brentford, Fulham, Brighton. Yeah. How can you despise Maresca if that's the case? If what's the case? Because if all we need is a better goalkeeper. Well, I believe that. I don't know if despise is the right word. I mean, I have despised him at times, definitely. After Arsenal was a great example, I was like, God, I hate this guy. Because he does do some very strange things. You can't deny that. Well, he was directly involved in the decision, I believe, to send Petrovic to Strasborg. Why else would Chelsea do it if they didn't have input from the manager? He was already our number 1 at the time. There's so many different things. I mean, if the goalkeeper is what you're asking, if you're asking me, I mean, we could have sold that this season. I think the manager, if he just said keep Petrovic, maybe we'd be in a better position. I mean, we said it ourselves. I mean, you the one who said Arsenal. Do you think Petrovic would have saved that inside post shot? I think he would have. I don't think he makes 2 mistakes against Brighton. I don't think he concedes. I don't think he gives the ball away every 10 seconds. I just don't think it would be. If no Osimhen, then Delap and David should be sufficient. Look, I would be happy with that, to be honest with you. I would be happy with Delap and David. Osimhen is the other option. If you're just looking for depth and to stockpile, you get Delap for 30 million. You get David on a free. You give him a nice signing on bonus. Those are both deals that we can realistically make happen. But listen, each to their own. Appreciate your time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have watched the whole video, make sure you smash that like button as well. Before you leave, we will be back at 10 p.m. for another show to go through everything later on today. Big up to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will catch up very, very soon.